What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have the Miami Dolphins team breakdown here today. And before we start, I just want to add on, I don't think it's going to apply to this team specifically, but I mentioned it in the Bills breakdown, and I will for the Jets and Patriots as well. I am pre-recording these because I'll be on vacation next week, so if DeAndre Hopkins signs with a team shortly after this, but before the video goes public and I don't mention it, that's why. I don't think there's any chance he signs with the Dolphins, but just gonna get that out of the way beforehand. Let's get right into it. Last season, 9-8, second in the AFC, seventh in the AFC, lost in the wild card round. Is a weird season. Started off great. You had a great offseason. Tua was playing at an MVP level at the beginning. Obviously, severe injury, wasn't really healthy for the rest of the year, and the team just did not do as well as a result. He ended up with a winning record, ended up making the playoffs. Skylar Thompson actually put up a good fight against Josh Allen in the wild card round, but obviously came up short. Assuming Tua is healthy, I would say there's a lot to look forward to for this season, but that could be a big if. Looking at the notable additions, the big one, obviously, Jalen Ramsey, you can see him pictured there, was kind of the big thing they did, traded Hunter Long and I believe a 5th or a 6th round pick for him. It was not much they gave up to get Jalen Ramsey, and I personally think that Jalen Ramsey is one of the more overrated corners. I don't think he has been like the top guy for the last few seasons, but he is still very solid, and for what they gave up to get him, that was great for the Dolphins last year. They made a big splash with getting Tyreek Hill this year. It's Jalen Ramsey. You also get Deshaun Elliott at safety, which I like. Mike White, I think, is a good backup quarterback in case Tua does miss time. And then you get receiving depth with Chosen Anderson, Braxton Berrios, get a punter with Jake Bailey, and then David Long Jr. at linebacker. Notable losses, you lose Teddy Bridgewater. I think getting Mike White is at least a lateral move, if not an upgrade at backup QB. Melvin Ingram at edge, Eric Fisher at tackle, Trent Sherfield at wide receiver, Eric Rowe at safety. A lot of these guys they've replaced or were not major role players. Now the big one is here, you see 4 tight ends, Mike Gesicki, Hunter Long, who was traded away for Ramsey, Adam Shaheen, and Ethan Carter. That's a lot of tight ends to be losing in one offseason to then not sign one or draft one. So it's kind of maybe an issue, but the Dolphins offense didn't really utilize a tight end last year anyway. It was kind of just all through Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and that's really all they needed. Anyway, looking at the draft class, you get Cam Smith. That's good. Another corner to that room. You have Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey. Obviously, they are both they're two of the better corners in the league. They are both aging, though, so you get a nice young guy in there. Devin Achane, add to that running back room. Hopefully he can develop and become the starting guy. It's probably going to be a committee with him, Jeff Wilson, and Raheem Mostert. You draft Elijah Higgins and Ryan Hayes at wide receiver and offensive tackle, respectively, later in the draft. So they didn't really have a lot to work with in the draft. Only 4 picks, obviously, none in the first round. But I think they did fine with what they had. Looking at their opponents, it is nearly identical to the Bills' schedule. And that is a lot of tough games, and pretty much all of those tough games are away games. You see the Chiefs, Eagles, Chargers, they have the Ravens, and obviously all of your divisional opponents. Looking at the ceiling, I have a 14-3 ceiling for them. This is actually a higher ceiling than I have for the Bills. I think if Tua can stay healthy, he can really be one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I think Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle is just a terrifying receiving duo, and the defense got a lot better as well with the addition of Jalen Ramsey in that secondary, and yeah. So I could see them sweeping the Patriots, splitting the Bills and the Jets, and then in an absolute ceiling between the Chiefs, Eagles, Chargers, Ravens. I could see them only losing one. I have them losing to the Ravens here, which you might think that's an odd choice out of those four, but I do have a feeling Tyreek Hill's going to win that revenge game. I do have them beating my Eagles in a ceiling scenario, and then Chargers, and then losing to the Ravens. It's not necessarily that I think they're more likely to beat the Ravens or lose to the Ravens than they are the Eagles or Chiefs or Chargers. It's just I think it's going to be one of those four in the absolute ceiling, and I chose the Ravens because that's just the team I chose. Could be any of those teams. Looking at the floor, 7-10, not a good season. This is assuming Tua's health becomes an issue. He ends up missing a lot of time, and the offense just is not good as a result. You end up getting swept by the Bills and Jets. You beat the Patriots once. You can beat the Commanders, Giants, Broncos, Raiders, Titans, Panthers, all these easier games, but Cowboys, Eagles, Chiefs, Chargers, Ravens, all these tougher games you could end up losing if Tua misses time or is banged up. Now, for my prediction, I do expect Tua to be healthy and to play at an elite level next year. I have them going undefeated at home, and then away, you end up losing to the Bills and Jets on the road, lose to the Ravens, Chargers, and Eagles, and as I said earlier, I do think that the Dolphins will win the Tyreek Hill revenge game against the Chiefs. So that would be a 12-5 record, which I think is pretty good for the Dolphins. That would be the same record prediction that I have for the Bills. So at that point, I don't know what the tiebreaker would be for the division, but I think that the Dolphins definitely can compete to win the AFC East over the Bills. I think it's possible. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the Miami Dolphins for next season. Thank you everyone for watching, and subscribe if you like the content. Bye.